Make way for the king. Make way for the king.
Guys, in sheer numbers, the Baofeng has become the king of ham radios for probably the past 15 years. But now it may be time to resign the crown, and maybe it's time for a little color screen, and a few updates. This time on K6 UDA Radio. Let's do this. Before we get going, I just want to tell you, you have to stick around to the very end of this video. I've got a treat for you that you probably have never, ever seen before. So I'll see you at the end of the video. I want to introduce to you, and you've probably already seen it on about a million other ham radio shows, but the people at TalkPod sent me this new TalkPod A36 Plus. This is kind of the answer to this. The good old standard UV5r. Well, actually, this one is the B-Tech UV5X3. This is a 3-band radio. It also does 220. That's why I still have it. Contrary to popular belief, I haven't destroyed all of my Baofengs with a hammer. Just the ones that quit working. Anyway, let's get into this. We'll talk about this new TalkPod A36 Plus, what I like about it, and what I'm not so happy with. I love the fact that they've updated it. Hey, mine is in fluorescent green. So if I take this out with me four-wheeling or whatever, and it falls off my hip or down a little ravine or whatever, at least I'm going to be able to find it. This is the main reason I like these cheap little radios. So anyway, guys, the TalkPod is kind of the answer to the B-Tech or the Baofeng radio. It's a nice modern uptake on the Baofeng radio. The big thing that I really enjoy about this one isn't the front of the radio, which is very cool looking. It isn't even the nice bright color screen on there that most of the Chinese radios seem to be doing these days. No, this is what I am most excited about. Yeah, USB-C charging. How cool is that? You know, on $500 to $1,000 radios, I would kind of hope and expect that manufacturers would use some of the latest technology. But that USB charging is not the latest USB-C. It's the USB micro or USB mini. It's an older standard, and it's not just the tip. It's the throughput. The USB-C will charge at a much faster rate, safer than the older USB minis or micros, and then there's the USB-A. It's kind of crazy. They come out with these new standards. It seems like the Japanese are 2 steps behind. Chinese are coming out and they're integrating things like the USB-C, which is a rounder port. It's much easier to get the charging port into the radio. what's so different about that and the king of ham radio? And I use the term loosely. When I say the king of ham radio, it's almost as if I'm talking about the king of beers. So let's talk about charging first. With the Baofeng on the back there, you got to put that in the drop-in charger. That's the only way you can charge a Baofeng battery. Now the TalkPod also comes with a drop-in charger. Yep. So pretty easily I could come in and drop this thing in, and yeah, it seems to be hooked up, ready to take that charge. And hey, what do you know? That comes with a USA type charger AC outlet, so it's all ready to go off AC. But what if you're like me and I very rarely want to put these things on a charger in the house? And if I'm traveling with it, if I'm going overnight on a camping trip or whatever, and I'm going to take something like this radio, the last thing I want to take is another charger. So what else am I really, really happy with without getting a copyright violation? FM radio. Yeah. And I think I could play probably 3 or 4 seconds under fair play, and I'm still pretty good. Also, color screen. And this thing comes either in a GMRS or a ham radio flavor, but with the included or the downloadable software, you can quickly unlock this thing. All right, so now if I'm talking down here, you can kind of hear me. If I move up to this little tiny mic hole up here, this is something that I am not entirely pleased with. K6UDA. This is the mic hole. Very, very sensitive as long as you're talking to the top of the radio. I know there's a lot of guys who tend to talk at the bottom of the radio because most other radios have that little microphone hole at the bottom of the radio. Here's the other thing not so happy about in the display. And I know it's a battery saving thing, and I could probably turn it off somewhere in the software. But it goes out. And when it goes out, it goes out. All right, here's another thing that I haven't really been able to figure out is swapping between my A and B. Should be super easy. I should be able to key up on 144555. But you'll see that it's on A for transmit. And I can, in the software, I can either pick A or B as my transmit frequency. It would be accessible here in the menu. And the menu is very much like the Baofeng. This radio does just marginally in bright sunlight. And we'll take it out and I'll show you bright sunlight in a few minutes. Okay.
Tower, Cherokee 5589 Foxtrot, up 7 miles to the south at 8,000, transitioning north.
So on the right side of the radio, it uses the standard Kenwood plug, and this little dongle here comes with it. This is how you're going to program your radio. On the left side of the radio, push to talk. The PF1 and PF2. Okay, so if I want to program this using the the CPS software. This is the native TalkPod A36 Plus software. Let's read this radio. Really? This is why I hate Windows, guys. It never works. Alright, guys. This is why I hate Windows. I want to use the computer for something quick, but it's gonna fucking update. Let's do something that works very, very well, and I know it does. Okay, and... Okay, so let's dive right in. We're going to download from the radio. Boom. Chirp to the rescue. And here's all of my frequencies, any of the settings that I want. An F2 long press. Ah, yes. There's the other thing that I should be able to do. We'll come back here. A long press opens the squelch.
On. Low 61 to 66.
Ah, look at that. I know there's a bunch of other hams that have come along before me with the A36 and did testing with a spectrum analyzer and found that this is a dirty little girl. But you know what? I kind of like my girls slutty, so I'm okay with that. So guys, not the perfect radio, but it's cheap enough and cool enough in green that I wanted one, and I'm carrying this thing around with me. As a matter of fact, I was out this morning and I had this thing on and I had it plugged in to a simplex frequency that a helicopter spraying company run by my next door neighbor, they were using, and I was watching them spray. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Kind of a cool little radio. Hopefully it was a cool little video. If it was, give me a thumbs up. And you know what? I want to share with you guys some helicopter spraying footage. This is what happens in the middle of real farm country. Hope you enjoy it. I'm going to let this take you out. I'm Bob, K6UDA, and I'm out of here. 7-3.
Ain't it a pity when your rooster crows at the top of the day, lays a whip down to your bones? Get up and get it, baby, all day long. Maybe nobody cares, maybe nobody wants to see the way. I got some cattle to call, you got those bunny towels. Lazy, don't get it in this old close town. Why don't you get out the way so I can lay it all down? Either way, now here I come from the smallest nowhere